In this little video, I'm going to explain how you can use your lifeline and what you need to do when you actually need it. But first of all, I'm going to explain something about the way the stitches are mounted on your knitting needle. As you can see, the front leg of the stitch is closest to the needle tip. If I turn the stitch around, you see that the back leg of the stitch is closer to the needle tip. So this stitch is twisted. And if you would knit a garment and one of your stitches in a stockinette piece is twisted, you would definitely see it. So the stitch should be mounted in the correct way. Now, assume that you are knitting your project and you are happy about it, and then all of a sudden you drop a stitch and you don't know how you can fix it. This is the moment that your lifeline comes in handy. The first thing you do is find your beginning of round marker. When you have found it, you place a stitch marker or a paper clip or whatever you have in your knitting. And now you are ready to take your knitting off the needles. And of course, if you take it off, all your stitch markers will come apart from your work as well. So the needle is out, the stitch markers are out, and now we need to frog our work back to the point where the lifeline is. So I'm just going to rip back until I reach a point where I can no longer unravel my knitting, because that is where the lifeline is holding your stitches in place. Once you have reached this point, you pick up your knitting needle and you start picking up the stitches, and you watch closely which way the lifeline is going through your stitch. That is the exact same route you are going to follow to pick the stitches up again. I know that in this row where my lifeline is, I have one stitch in color A and 2 stitches in color B. So that will help me keep track of what I need to pick up. Because sometimes, like here, the A stitch just got unraveled a little, and you have to, kind of fiddle it to pick it back up again. But as long as you follow your lifeline exactly, it can't go wrong. Once you have reached the point where you have 12 stitches on your needle again, it's time to place one of your stitch markers. Once you have worked your way around all the stitches and you have them back on the needle, you don't take the lifeline out. You just leave it hanging there, because if you by accident make a mistake again, and I hope you don't, but then you can always turn back to this lifeline. And if you have knitted the rows for the next pattern, you can put in a new one, and just for safety reasons, leave the first one in and just take it out if you are really sure that your knitting is going perfectly and you don't need an earlier lifeline in the future. Good luck with this and happy knitting!